Punjab, which has been asserting that they are the owners of these waters, why did they part with 8 MAF to Rajasthan and only took 5?
Because the World Bank team was coming and they had to be shown something, and this water was hurriedly divided between Punjab, Pepsu, J&K and Rajasthan, so that we can show to the World Bank that we have already planned the distribution of this water. These were kept secret from the public of Punjab. These were kept secret from the press. Subsequently, nobody objected. Cancel all those agreements. We are not bound by those agreements. We will not give you any water. They are getting flow water, and we have to pump out that water with the tube, with the motor, the tube. So at least we should get back some compensation for that water. Nobody ever asked Rajasthan to pay. Nobody bothered. No question was ever raised. No letter was ever written to anybody. We were deeply involved with the dispute with Haryana, SOL, and we have forgotten everything about Rajasthan, etc. Government at that time was very keen that Rajiv Longowal Accord should be implemented, and we are suffering only on that front.
The amount of water going with the SYL to Haryana will only be 1.8 MAF. The amount of water going to Rajasthan is 8.2 MAF.
That should be challenged, but they are waiting the result of SYL. They say they will subsequently do. We don't want to have dispute with two states.
If Punjab unilaterally stopped giving water to Rajasthan, what are the consequences?
Government will dismiss the government, central government, and impose president soon. If we don't get back, we will become a desert.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I am in Punjab today, and Punjab is a state which gets its name from its biggest asset, the 5 rivers that once flowed through it until partition, where East Punjab today, which is in India, has the benefit of being called a land of rivers, 3 rivers. However, the river water issue in Punjab is a muddy issue, where the issue has been muddied by politics, the lack of respect for the law and the constitution, and the innocence of the people who have allowed more than half of its water allocated to it under the Indus Water Treaty to be given away to states which are not riparian, namely Rajasthan, Haryana and Delhi. Today, in an interview, sitting in Mohali, I am in the home of Pritam Singh Kumedan, who retired from the Punjab Civil Service in 1980, but continues to be an advisor to the Panjab Government, not only on water dispute issues, but many other issues, for example, on the very question of Chandigarh being a part of the Union Territory instead of being a part of Punjab. He is a man of clear memory, clearer than the waters that run through the state, who will today unravel the subterfuge, the lack of regard for due process and the law. And I now ask you to listen in to his wise words. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Sardar Pritam Singh Ji, I first want you to tell us about your involvement in the passionate subject of the Punjab river water issue in all of your life. When did you first become interested in it?
I am the only person who has been in constant touch with this problem from the very beginning, that is 1966. Then I was the subdivision magistrate of 2 subdivisions, Ropar and Allahabad. And the Sutlej River and the main canals, Pakhla Canal, Sarand Canal, pass through Ropar district. So naturally, I was interested both in territorial dispute and the water dispute of the Punjab rivers. And then my interest started in 1966. But after my retirement, I had been member of all the committees set up by the Panjab government regarding river water disputes and territorial disputes, Chandigarh disputes, etc. So that is how I am constantly associated with this problem.
The problem Punjab has faced ever since independence, ever since the partition of Punjab in 1947, of having to part with the waters at a time today when Punjab is itself digging wells at enormous cost of electricity being used, when it itself needs water, but it's having to give away water to neighboring states which are not riparian states. So can you tell us, what do you know of the decision of the Supreme Court on the 10th of November and how it impacts Punjab?
The recent decision of the Supreme Court was only regarding the act passed in 2004 terminating all the agreements regarding water, including the 1981 agreement regarding the distribution of the water of the Punjab rivers. And Supreme Court has decided that as we have already decided in the case of Paryar River in Kerala state, the act passed by the Panjab government, termination of agreements 204, is null and void because it has been passed only to nullify the two judgments of the Supreme Court of 15th January 2002 and 2004. Supreme Court said that you have passed this act only to nullify our order. And an act specifically enacted to nullify a specific Supreme Court order is null and void. Punjab had enacted this termination agreement because if we terminate the agreement, Haryana will not get any water. If they don't get any water, there is no question of any constructing the canal. This was the aim.
What led to the Supreme Court decision?
Actually, the position is that after the Rajil-Longowal agreement, the SYL canal, the construction of SYL canal started. Up to about 80% or 90% canal was fully built. At that time, two engineers of irrigation years were shot dead. So there was panic and the water works stopped in that canal. 1996, Haryana moved an application in the Supreme Court that there is now peace in Punjab and the canal work, the remaining canal work construction should start. So after 3-4 years of discussion, Supreme Court ordered that 90% of the canal is already complete and you complete the remaining 10%. That is how the order dated 15th January 2002 was passed, asking Punjab to complete the remaining portion within 1 year. After 1 year, a few days before the final date, Punjab gave an application that we should be excused from this work. We are unable to do this work. So Supreme Court again passed an order in 2004 that this work of completing the remaining portion should be done by the central government. And the Panjab government should hand over all the record and the canal to the central government. After that, the Panjab government, Congress government adopted this termination agreement in July 2004.
But why did the Supreme Court make the order in 2002 and 2004 if what you are saying is that Haryana has no riparian rights? Supreme Court should have recognized that. Supreme Court should have noticed that Section 78 is unconstitutional. Didn't lawyers of Punjab challenge Haryana on the Section 78 point when Haryana had applied to the Supreme Court for a decree?
This point was raised by Punjab in the Supreme Court when the order dated 15 January 2002 was passed. Punjab said that this is a water dispute between Punjab and Haryana, and therefore, as per River Disputes Act, Supreme Court cannot interfere in the water dispute. But the Supreme Court said, we are not touching water. We are not deciding Section 78. We say 90% of the canal has been completed. Only 10% canal remains to be completed. You complete this one. This is our only order. We don't go into the question of getting water or refusing water. We say, decide this whole dispute as per provision of the Constitution. The Constitution says that water belongs to states. Under the Indian Constitution, there is a clear-cut demarcation of power between the federal government and the states. The powers of the central governments are enumerated in Schedule 7, List 1, called the Central List. Central government cannot make any law. Central government cannot issue an executive order regarding water. Only Punjab state has the power to make law and to issue executive orders. Constitution says only the states through which the river flows have sovereign rights over that right. Because Haryana is not a riparian state, no, not even one river flows in that state. Ravi is 300 kilometers from Haryana border. Beas is 200 kilometers from Haryana border. Sutlej is 100 kilometers from Haryana border. They are not the interstate rivers. So there can be no dispute. There can be no question of any dispute between Punjab and Haryana, and no question of setting a tribunal, and no question of giving them any water. The water already given to them has to be withdrawn.
How did they then pass the Punjab Reorganization Act 1966, Section 78, which is about the centre passing a law about water distribution in Punjab?
The trouble is this Section 78 is a carbon copy of Andhra State Act Section 66. But the framer of this act forgot that the situation in Punjab and Andhra is quite different. In that case, the states were riparian. About the ownership of the river, there was no dispute. Here, we dispute that Haryana has no right, so they cannot get any water. So you cannot incorporate Section 78 in the Irrigation Act. This is unconstitutional. We challenged this 78 in 1979 when Badal was Chief Minister. It was withdrawn from the Supreme Court by Sardar Dalbara Singh, Congress Chief Minister. we went to the Supreme Court. ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਕੇਸ ਕੀਤਾ
ਹਾਂਜੀ।
1979 ਚ
ਅੱਛਾ।
ਬਾਦਸ਼ਾਹ ਵੇਲੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ went to the Supreme Court
ਫਿਰ Supreme Court
ਕਿ
ਨੇ ਕੀ ਬੋਲਿਆ?
central has no authority
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ।
ਇਹ 78 ਬਣਾਉਂਦਾ center has no authority ਕਿਉਂਕਿ
It gives powers to the-
ਅਨਕਨਸਟੀਟਿਊਸ਼ਨਲ ਆ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਪਾਵਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਦੀ ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਹਰਿਆਣੇ ਨੇ ਕਰਤਾ ਕਿ 24-76 ਵਾਲਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਲਾਗੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਤਾ ਨਾ ਬਈ 24-76 ਵਾਲਾ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਅਨਕਨਸਟੀਟਿਊਸ਼ਨਲ ਆ
ਕਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ?
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ 3.5 ਹਰਿਆਣਾ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤਾ 3.5 ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਅੰਡਰ ਸੈਕਸ਼ਨ 78 ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਡਿਸਪਿਊਟ ਕੀਤਾ in the Supreme Court ਕਿ center had no authority to enact 78
Supreme Court ਦਾ ਕੀ ਆਨਸਰ ਸੀ?
because water is a state
matter, yeah.
water state
ਹਾਂ
ਉਹ ਕੇਸ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ
ਹਾਂ
ਹਰਿਆਣਾ also filed a writ in the Supreme Court
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ 24-76 ਵਾਲਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਦਾ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਲਾਗੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ
ਅੱਛਾ
ਉਹ ਕੇਸ ਚੱਲ ਪਏ
ਹਾਂ
ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਚੋਰ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨਾ ਕੇਸ ਪਰ ਆਰਗੂਮੈਂਟਸ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਹਰਿਆਣੇ ਦਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਸੀ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਵਾਲਾ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਕੀਲਾਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੰਮ ਹੈਗਾ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਤੇ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਨਿਗਮ ਦੇਖੋ ਮਾਰੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ ਬਈ ਸੈਂਟਰ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਕਾਂਗਰਸ ਪੰਜਾਬ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਕਾਂਗਰਸ ਹਰਿਆਣੇ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਕਾਂਗਰਸ ਤੇ ਸੁਪਰੀਮ ਕੋਰਟ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ ਉਹਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਸ਼ਿਵ ਸ਼ੰਕਰ ਲਾ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਸੀ ਉਹਦੀ ਡਿਊਟੀ ਲਾ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਬਈ ਕੇਸ ਵਡਰਾ ਕਰਾ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਕੋ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੇ
So this gave rise to the 31st December 1981
ਜਵਾਹਾ
okay
ਵੀ ਇਹ ਕੇਸ ਵਡਰਾ ਕਰਾਣਾ ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਦਰਬਾਰਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਬੈਕਗ੍ਰਾਉਂਡ ਦਾ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਹੋਈ ਚੇਅਰਮੈਨ ਸ਼ਿਵ ਸ਼ੰਕਰ ਲਾ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਆਫ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਸਰ ਦਰਬਾਰਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਔਰ ਪਜਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਹਰਿਆਣਾ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਹੋਈ ਉੱਥੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਦਰਬਾਰਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗਾ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਵਡਰਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਉਹ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਸੋ ਸੀਰੀਅਸ ਉਹ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਫਿਰ ਨਾਲ ਦੇ ਕਮਰੇ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੀ ਸੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸ਼ਿਵ ਸ਼ੰਕਰ ਸੀ ਹੀ ਵੈਂਟ ਟੂ ਦ ਰੂਮ ਆਫ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਦਰਬਾਰਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦਾ ਵਡਰਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਫਿਰ ਸ਼ੀ ਕੇਮ ਆਊਟ ਆਫ ਅ ਰੂਮ ਉਸ ਦਿਨ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਮਿਸਟਰ G.S. ਚਾਵਲਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕੋਰਸਪੋਂਡੈਂਟ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਐਕਸਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਦਾ
ਅੱਛਾ
ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਦੱਸਦਾ ਉਹਨੇ ਕਹਾਣੀ ਲਿਖੀ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਆਈ ਵਾਸ ਸਟੈਂਡਿੰਗ ਦੇਅਰ ਕਮਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਸਟਾਫ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਖੜੋਤੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਆਦਾ ਸ਼ੀ ਕੇਮ ਆਊਟ ਆਫ ਹਰ ਰੂਮ quivering with rage ਹੈ और 3-4 पौड़ी उतर के कहने लगी दरबारा सिंह को कहो इस्तीफा दे आज ही इस्तीफा दे ये क्या क्या शी वेंट बैक 3-4 पौड़ियाँ अरे फिर वापस आ गई फिर आ कहने लगी दरबारा सिंह को अंदर से बुलाओ अभी बुलाओ दरबार सिंह लाकर बाहर आ गया ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਪੌੜੀ
ਇਹ ਸਭ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ
ਹੈ
ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ
ਨਾ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਦੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕਮਰਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਮਰੇ 'ਚ ਉੱਥੇ ਖੜੋਤੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਪੌੜੀਆਂ 'ਚੋਂ ਅਸਤੀਫਾ ਦਿਓ ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਅਸਤੀਫਾ ਦਿਓ ਐਂਡ ਸ਼ੀ ਵੈਂਟ ਬੈਕ ਇਨ ਹਰ ਰੂਮ ਇਨ ਦੀ ਈਵਨਿੰਗ ਦਰਬਾਰਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਅਪਸੈਟ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਇਸ ਵਾਰ ਤੇ ਦਰਬਾਰਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਬਹੁਤ ਅਪਸੈਟ ਉਹਨੇ ਸਲਾਹ ਕੀਤੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਮੈਂ ਖਸਮਾਂ ਤੂੰ ਵਡਰਾ ਕਰ ਲਾ ਅਰੇ ਤੂੰ ਵਡਰਾ ਨਾ ਕਦੇ ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਬਣਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਵਡਰਾ ਕਰ ਲੈ ਇੰਦਰਾ ਗਾਂਧੀ ਕਾਰਡ ਦੀ ਸਟੇਟਸ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਹਰਿਆਣਾ ਰਾਜਸਥਾਨ and asked them to sign a new agreement on 31st December 1981. And as a result of that agreement, Haryana, who had already got 3.5, under that agreement also they got 3.5, but on that was a camouflage for giving legal right to Rajasthan for making them a party. After that, Indira Gandhi laid the foundation stone of SYL Canal at Kapuri, and the Akali started the Morcha, named as Dharmajudha Morcha. There is another difficulty. Central government roped in Sant Longowal to sign a new agreement called the Rajiv Longowal Accord. And under that accord, they set up a tribunal called the Ready Water Dispute Tribunal. Our contention is that a Ready Tribunal could not be set up because Haryana was not a riparian state, that the Act 1956 and the Constitution's Article 262 say that only the riparian states can have dispute, and for solving that dispute between the riparian states, a tribunal can be set up. Because non-riparian state has no right to get any water. So the setting of the tribunal was wrong. And for that, they amended the 1956 River Water Dispute Act, incorporating a section 14 at the end of the act, that this tribunal will decide the accord reached between Longowal and Rajiv Gandhi. After that, Hardev Singh has been our counsel in the Supreme Court. There was a meeting, I was present in that meeting. So informally, before the start of the meeting, I discussed the matter with Hardev Singh. I told Hardev Singh that you yourself had told me that a tribunal can be set up only between the riparian states. And how can you insert this section 14 in this act? He said that Barnala government is very keen that Rajiv Longowal's accord should be implemented. So at this stage, we should not challenge. Let them set up. And when they set up, then we will challenge the tribunal. The tribunal was set up. Sir Hardev Singh asked the Chief Minister that we should challenge a Ready Tribunal, that you are an unconstitutional body, you can't decide it. He did not agree. He wrote a 10-page letter to the Secretary of Irrigation. He said, unless we challenge a Ready Tribunal and Section 14, we will be committing suicide. And I cannot be a party for Punjab committing a suicide. If you do that, I will not do this case. I wash my hands.
Who said this?
Hardev Singh, our counsel in the Supreme Court. He insisted that a Ready Tribunal cannot be set up and it should be challenged. He insisted that Section 14 of the River Water Disputes is wrong insertion in the Act, and this should be shortened. But the government at that time was very keen that Rajiv Longowal Accord should be implemented, and we are suffering only on that account.
Okay, now you are an advisor to the Panjab government. They come to you, I know that. Would you advise them that they should challenge the tribunal?
I am always insisting that this Section 14 cannot be inserted in the River Water Dispute Act.
Yeah.
This accord was between two individuals, between Sant Longowal and Rajiv Gandhi. They not between the governments. But even if it has been signed, even if it is an accord, you decide according to the accord, but you cannot insert this thing in the River Water Dispute Act.
Has anyone even considered writing to the Supreme Court to say, please take sumoto action, because you know that Section 14 cannot be added to the Interstate Disputes Act. But this is a question of law. This is not a question of distribution of waters. It's a question of law whether Section 14 could have been added to the 1956 Interstate Water Disputes Act. Surely the Supreme Court, which is all-knowing and all-great, should be able to take suo motu notice of it.
If the Punjab state government challenge the vote, then well, they will consider.
So
Otherwise, why should they consider? If you challenge the basic thing that Haryana has no right to get any water section, that automatically settled.
But the Longowal Accord, is it only affect to Haryana or does it also affect the waters going to Rajasthan?
They have said that the farmers of Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan, because Rajasthan gets water from Pakhda Canal also, that the farmers of Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan will continue to get water which they are using at present. This is one clause. Second clause, the remaining water of Punjab, Haryana, not of Rajasthan. Rajasthan's 8 MF, that is not to be touched. That the remaining water, whatever it is, will be distributed between Punjab and Haryana, and that distribution will be done by the erratic tribunal.
We want to ask you about the position of providing water to Rajasthan post-independence. What were the agreements that were signed and what is the position today with regard to that?
Our whole intention has been diverted toward the SYL from day one, SYL. Forgetting that this is a question of 3.5 MF only. Well, Rajasthan is getting 11.2 MF for no reason here they are getting. There was a clause in the standstill agreement that before 31st of March, both the provinces will decide about the water and the electricity. Then Panjab Government was in Shimla. They wrote to Pakistan, please come and decide whatever we do about the 2 canals. They did not come. On the 31st March 1948, at midnight, Punjab closed the UBDC and the Dipalpur canals. So there was, it led to alarming situation. There were army, Pakistan armed forces were alerted. So government of India said, why have you done this? Then Swarn Singh was the irrigation minister of Punjab. Punjab said, this is our water, these are our river, so we can do anything with them. After that, the government of India and the Pakistan government said, because now the 2 independent countries, the agreement has to be between Pakistan and India. So 3 ministers of Pakistan, from our side, Pandit Nehru, N.V. Gadigal, Central Irrigation and Swarn Singh Punjab Irrigation, they signed an agreement. The first clause of which was that Punjab asserts that Punjab is the sole owner of Ravi, Byas and Sutlej, and if Pakistan wants to get any water, they shall have to pay. The second clause was government of Pakistan agreed that they will pay for this water. And how much they have to pay? This was the third clause as determined by the Prime Minister of India. And the fourth clause was that they will deposit this amount in the account of Panjab Government in the Reserve Bank of India.
This is in which year?
On 4th May 1948. After 1 or 2 years, Pakistan backed out. They said they have to sign it under duress, and they are not bound this agreement because it was signed under duress. Subsequently, there was a tension between India and Pakistan, and the World Bank stepped in 1952. In February, March 1954, World Bank decided that tentatively we decide that we give three rivers, Ravi, Beas and Sutlej, exclusively to Punjab, and three rivers, Jhelum, Chenab and Indus, exclusively to Pakistan. The water of these two rivers, Ravi and Beas, were not to go to Pakistan. The water of rivers Sutlej had already been allocated to two canals, Pakhra Canal and Sarand Canal. So there was no question of Sutlej River. The only water which was available for use in India was the water of Ravi and Beas. And that was 15.85 MAF. Punjab asserted that this is exclusively our water. But our Indus Water Commissioner in Washington, Mr. Gulati, he sent a telegram that the World Bank team is likely to visit India in March 1955. So you please distribute this 15.85 MF water immediately so that we can show to the World Bank that we have already planned the distribution of this water. So immediately a conference was called by Gulzari Lal Nanda, Irrigation Minister of India, on 29th of January 1955, and this water 15.85 was hurriedly divided between Punjab, Pepsu, J&K and Rajasthan.
Explain who is Pepsu.
Patiala State, Punjab and East Punjab States Union subsequently merged in Punjab 1956. So as a result of that, Punjab got 5.9 MF, Pepsu got 1.3, J&K 0.65 and Rajasthan 8 MF.
Now, were all of these states that you've just described riparian states?
Rajasthan was riparian, J&K was riparian Ravi, so Punjab and Pepsu were riparian.
So how was a non-riparian state allowed to have water under this hurried agreement?
That was hurriedly decided because the government of India, when government of India issued a letter, that you come with your demand immediately to the meeting. How will you decide? So Punjab said we will use so much water in this canal, so much water in this canal, so much water in this canal, and they gave only 5.9 as their demand at that time.
Can I stop you there? Why did Punjab do that? Punjab, which has been asserting that they are the owners of these waters, why did they part with 8 MAF to Rajasthan and only took 5?
It should not have been given. That was the big mistake made by Punjab under duress, under the pressure of the central government, and just to show to the World Bank that was only a temporary arrangement, just to show to the World Bank, this is how we will utilize. Subsequently, nobody objected, and they constructed the Rajasthan Canal and started giving water to Rajasthan.
What can you say about the psyche of the people of Punjab, who must have known that their government has given away their water to a non-riparian state?
It was kept a secret. The heading of the proceeding was secret. So nobody in Punjab, what had happened? Nobody knows. The public came to know because only when the dispute started between Punjab and Haryana. Before that, nobody knew what was happening, why was water being given to Rajasthan. The public did not know. Even before that, I tell you, the dirty game which the central government has been playing. In some emergency, in some war, we can lose Firozpur headworks due to bombardment or something. So Panjab Govt decided to construct a new headworks at Harike. And Punjab government sent the draft proposal to central government that we want to construct a new headworks at Harike. Central government said that we will give funds and approval only if you provide for a head of 18,500 cusics at Harike for a Rajasthan canal. Only then we will give the permission and the funds. So accordingly, the our scheme was approved, money was given. Only after we decided, we assured that we will provide such a head. And at Harike, there are two heads of two canals. One is for Rajasthan Canal, one of the biggest canals in the world. It has 426 miles long and 18,500 capacity. One head, another was for the Sarhand feeder.
Someone might argue, why can't Punjab give the water to Rajasthan if Punjab has a lot of water? Did Punjab have a lot of water?
At that time, even if there was no scheme for utilizing that water, we could have said that we will accept our ownership of this water in the form that we charge some royalty for this water. That would have asserted our right that we have an exclusive right of this water. Only we have given for some purpose for some years to Rajasthan, but we did not assert.
We are not even getting value for the water that is being given. What is the reason for that?
Actually, nobody bothered. Nobody ever asked Rajasthan to pay. Nobody bothered. No question was ever raised. No letter was ever written to anybody.
There was no question of establishing ownership?
Yes, no. Nobody asserted it. We were deeply involved in the dispute with Pakistan. The whole attention was diverted toward the dispute, and nobody was what is happening in India. Similarly, in the case of Haryana, we were deeply involved with the dispute with Haryana as well, and we have forgotten everything about Rajasthan, etc.
Yeah. So you're saying that when a decision was taken to give a non-riparian state water from Punjab, it may well have looked like a good thing to do, but today, can you describe to us what is the water requirement in Punjab and water availability in Punjab?
When we started intensive agriculture, green revolution, only then we started realizing that we required much more water. At present, Punjab, the requirement of water is 55 mAf. We consume 35 mAf for rice and the rest for wheat and other crops. So, how do we get this water? We get about 10 mAf from rains, about 10 mAf from canals, and about 25 or 30 mAf from subsoil water by using 1.4 million tube wells. The position now is that the tube wells have almost all failed everywhere. So we have now to go deep for submersible pumps. We have to using submersible pump, 400 feet, 500 feet deep we go. Every year water is going down, and time will come that we will not get any water from south side. We will have to go 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet. And time will come that Punjab will become desert. Not only for irrigation, we will not be able to get even for drinking water.
if Punjab is agreed to give to Rajasthan, can they reverse it?
If we don't get it back, we will become a desert. That is absolutely necessity, although it's very difficult, very, very difficult. We have given about 20 MAF to other states, so we should get back that water. That is the only solution. When we say we cannot give even one drop of water, we really mean that there is spare water and we cannot give any water. They are getting flow water and we have to pump out that water with the help of motors and tube wells. So at least we should get back some compensation for that water in the form of electricity we are using for pumping out that water, and the annual value of the electricity we are supplying to the is about 20,000 million rupees. So at that rate, the total amount for the last about 50 years would come to 80,000 crores. The Panjab government, they said that to the Advocate General. And Advocate General discussed the matter with me. So he said, Mr. Kumedan, you are the master of this thing, and you discuss with the Secretary Irrigation, and then you discuss with our legal team in the Supreme Court. I went to the Secretary Irrigation. He also said that, Kumedan, you know it better. You go to the Supreme Court to our legal team. They found the legal team. I went to the Supreme Court to our legal team. So I made them understand because this was the first time that we had made a claim, such a claim. So they said, all right, we will think over it and let you know. After about a month, they again telephoned the Advocate General and the Secretary, please send Kumedan again. I again went and made them understand everything, came back. Third time again, after some days, they again said, please send Kumedan once more. Again I went and made them explain. And then I told them, you write a note, you please say no or yes to what I have written. So there the matter ended. Now the position is they are taking a cue from that note of mine. The Punjab Assembly has passed a resolution that we should get the value of water from Rajasthan, Haryana and Delhi.
When was this resolution passed?
After the Supreme Court judgment.
So it was 16th of November.
There was a session of the Punjab Assembly, and then that Assembly they passed two resolutions. One was regarding the SYL Canal. The another resolution was charging the non-riparian states for the water for what we have supplying. I said this is only the cost of electricity for pumping out the water. The value of water will be calculated subsequently. A team of the Central Water Commission came to Madhapur headworks of Pathankot some years back. They said the gates of the headworks are leaking and about 100 cubics of water goes waste to Pakistan. The value of this water is 1,000 million rupees per year.
What about the future? What do you see as a solution?
In future, we say we will not give you any water. And we say, cancel all those agreements. We are not bound by those agreements. We will not give you any water.
If they challenge Section 78, they should also challenge the giving of water to Rajasthan under the agreement of December 31st, 1981. So what tack do you advise the government to use in order to terminate this agreement?
A new suit shall have to be filed for all these purposes.
But who will do it?
Regarding.
How do we persuade
Only the
them?
government can file.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
will you be the kind?
We discuss all these things. We
Okay.
discuss. They say if we succeed in upsetting this 78, everything is solved.
Yes. No, but it doesn't solve. It doesn't solve the Rajasthan water.
No,
which is-
Rajasthan, we have never challenged.
Yes.
And up to this day, we have no intention of challenging.
So they're happy to lose 8 MAF.
A new suit shall have to be filed in the
Yes.
Supreme Court.
Yes.
But the government is of the view that let us first deal with Haryana.
But that's
And then deal with Rajasthan. We don't want to have dispute with two states. Let us finish with one state.
really.
And that has taken 50 years.
Yes.
to-
You told me the amount of water that's going to go through the SYL is about 1.8 MAF.
Only small quantity.
Yes, a small quantity. So we want to spend a lot of energy, a lot of political battles to say I will die if one drop of water leaves Punjab over 1.4 MAF. But we are not prepared to fight a new suit, albeit to end their agreement with Rajasthan, if indeed there was an agreement, if it can be called an agreement, 31st of December 1981, because that will bring to Punjab some 8.2 MAF of water. So I'm wondering what the real intention of the objections to the SYL canal is, because you're not saving a lot of water for Punjab. You're spending a lot of money and a lot of political mileage when there's more water to be salvaged from Rajasthan.
That should have been challenged, but we didn't challenge it.
So when you want to go to court to challenge the water that's been given to Rajasthan, you don't have an act. You want to challenge the agreement?
For challenging water to Rajasthan, it shall be a self-contained suit, challenge on so many points, working with water, the history of the whole dispute, why it was given in the initial stages, why a 5-6 line proceeding of the meeting were called agreement. But they say, since you did not object to this for so many years, and now you have come to the court to challenge it.
If I have an agreement with you that I will give you a present for your birthday, you can't enforce it against me if I refuse to give it to you next year when your birthday comes again, because it's a gift, right? There is no contract for me to give you.
There are so many grounds on which that can be challenged. One of the grounds can be that there's, as per Section 25 of the Indian Contract Act, there is no consideration. This is not valid because Section 25 of the Indian Contract Act says agreement without consideration is void. So in this agreement we did not get anything, we only gave. So this is void. So many grounds, there are grounds also.
So if Punjab unilaterally stopped giving water to Rajasthan, what are the consequences?
Government
If they don't go to court, they just from tomorrow say, we're not giving Rajasthan any water, what will the consequences be in law?
Government will dismiss the government, central government, and impose president's rule.
So quite a few things need to be done by the Punjab state before it can say that we are doing a lot to help the farmers of Punjab. And on behalf of all the listeners and the viewers of this program, we ask you, since you have their ears, that for you to point out to them that the lowering of the water table, the poison in the water in Punjab because of pesticides, is a challenge for water consumption in Punjab, where more than 50% of the water in Punjab is being met by groundwater, and we know why that is a bad thing to rely on, and that the river water, which is something that you should be able to rely on, we are only relying on river water to up to 20%. So we have a state of Punjab which is known for having 5 rivers, reduced to 3 rivers after partition, but that state is not relying on its waters, but it's sending out water to all the other states. It makes a sorry state for the Punjab farmers. Would you agree to take this message to the Punjab government?
No, Punjab government will file, but this is only a question of time. For the present, they are concentrating on SYR. So let us see when they file a case suit against Rajasthan.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a suit, like you said. They are just telling somebody, I used to give you water, I can't give you water anymore because I need the water, so I'm going to stop giving you water. I'll give you a bit of leeway to make your own arrangements, but let this be an amicable settlement. I don't have to sue you, but I have a right, because water is a state matter, and under the list 2 of the Constitution, I'm entitled to decide on water issues. So they don't even need permission from the centre to stop their arrangements with Rajasthan.
As I told you, one simple question has never been settled, which was raised by Prime Minister Morarji Desai. He wanted to get the opinion of the Attorney General of India as to what are the legal rights of Haryana and Rajasthan in Punjab rivers. That is the only question which has to be decided, and this has never been decided for the last 50 years. This is a simple question and simple answer as per provisions of the Constitution.
So what we would like to conclude after going through the turbulent, muddy, and very still waters of Punjab, which we discussed today, is that there are things that need to be done. First of all, Section 78 itself, the challenge which was made in 2007, which needs to be activated. It's sitting on some back burner in some list in the Supreme Court, and interested parties need to activate that issue of the constitutionality of Section 78 of the Punjab Reorganisation Act 1966, where we say that it is not the business of the centre or the union government to make any decisions with regard to distribution of water, because water is a state subject under the second list and under the entry number 17 of the Indian Constitution. The second challenge that needs to be mounted, someone has to challenge Section 14 of the Interstate Water Disputes Act 1956, which we say is unconstitutional because it seeks to make a non-riparian state a party to an act which is only for riparian states. The third challenge would be a challenge for the waters being sent to Rajasthan since 1955, and of course even before that, but since 1955, which amount to about 8 MAF every year, to say to Rajasthan that we now need our water. When we gave you water, it was not under an act, it was under an agreement, but we no longer can continue to give you the water because we are ourselves dependent on our groundwater for more than 50% of our needs, and our groundwater is depleting and it's very poisonous and so on. We hope that this rather involved discussion of a matter which touches our heart, because water is as precious as air. We must now wake up that, as Mr. Pritam Singh said, it is not if Punjab becomes a desert, it's when Punjab becomes a desert. How long can we prolong that? By bringing back the water to Punjab that has been given away when Punjab didn't need it as much, but which Punjab needs today.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.